What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Universal Mastery. Welcome back to my public YouTube channel. Now, if you're new, let me give you a little bit of a perspective on exactly what I do here. Okay? What I do here is I break down the occult sciences and I break them down to a very practical degree so that you can simply use them and apply them in your day-to-day life and get real, actual results with what it is that I'm teaching, simply by applying your observation and awareness. Very easy to do, okay? Welcome in to everyone who is a reoccurring viewer or a subscriber. I'm glad to have you here. Once again, if you're new, let me also give you a perspective of who I am so that you know who you're getting this information from, because that's very important to understand, especially when it comes to psychic self-development, okay? My name is Jeremiah Schwartz. I am a professional occultist. I am fully initiated in the entirety of the Kabbalistic tree. I'm studied when it comes to the 22 major arcana of the tarot deck. And I'm also studied when it comes to planetary energies in direct association with astrology. Okay, now what is the topic of our today's video? This is an extremely profound and extremely unique topic that I can guarantee you are not going to hear anywhere else publicly, okay? I'm going to be discussing the real secrets of the apocalypse. I'm going to be discussing what the apocalypse actually is, what it's actually about, and why it's primarily being ushered in by the real black magicians on this planet, okay? If you want to know some of the secrets of the apocalypse, then this is definitely a video that is meant for you. So you have one thing to do at this point, which is stay tuned, and I will see you on the other side. Okay, so let's go right into it. So the apocalypse, okay? We've all heard about the apocalypse, okay? Every single one of you listening to this, I can almost guarantee you know what the apocalypse is about. You've heard of apocalyptic events. You've heard the word apocalypse. You have a general idea, and a lot of people generally think the apocalypse is the world just completely getting demolished, destroyed, whether it's by natural events or if it's by new world orders, things in that nature, okay? And all of these imaginations, or all of these visualizations that you can bring up through your imagination in regards to what the apocalypse is, these are all real, okay? This essentially is what the apocalypse is about. This is what it represents, and this is true, okay? The apocalypse is destructive. It is essentially a mass reset. You could think of it like being a mass reset, okay? It's like as if this planet was a video game, and there needed to be a reset button to start fresh. The apocalypse would essentially be that restart button, okay? Now, let's bring it into a more realistic perspective, okay? Once again, just so you know, I'm a professional occultist, but specifically, I'm a real black magician. So what that means is that I have wisdom and I have knowledge that a lot of other people don't have, where I can share my perspective from my point of view, being the person that I am, the type of entity that I am, on what the apocalypse actually represents, from a perspective that is not a fear-based perspective, or from a perspective that is not a victim perspective, okay? So this is why this video is going to be extremely unique compared to probably every other video that you've ever heard on the internet in regards to what the apocalypse is, okay? So feel free to share this content with any of your family, friends, or social media platforms that you feel like would gain value or could potentially be interested in this subject. Now let's go into it. So the apocalypse isn't necessarily a guaranteed thing. Now let's start here. On our planet, there are for sure events that take place. Like we could say tectonic plates shifting within our planets, on our planet, I should say. Tectonic plate shifts on our planet Earth that can cause what seem to be like apocalyptic events that literally wipe out huge portions of the population. This stuff does happen. These types of cyclical events do take place when they need to in regards to how the planet is evolving within its own rights. But this isn't necessarily the apocalypse. That's not really what the apocalypse represents. The apocalypse is actually more so of a controlled event. It's a controlled experience. That's the best way to put it. It is a controlled experience by a certain group of people, and this certain group of people isn't like just a handful of people. This is obviously thousands of people, but in comparison to the majority of the human species, it's a small group of people. Now, truly, the apocalypse is something that is intended and brought on by real black magicians. Okay, so let me just throw this at you. So if you're listening to this, I want you to use your imagination. I want you to think back to a time that you've watched a music video, that you've watched a TV show, that you've watched a movie that has demonstrated the apocalypse within these types of movies, within these types of music videos, or within the TV shows, or whatever the case is. I want you to take a second to really ask yourself, when was the last time I watched a movie that had the apocalypse in the movie? Okay? Or when was the last time I listened to a song that had lyrics that were along the lines of apocalyptic behavior, or some sort of apocalypse is coming? Okay? And I'm sure of you, after you've used your imagination to think back on these certain experiences you've had with apocalyptic events, I'm sure a lot of you can think of something, okay, right off the top of your head. I know I can, okay? I've seen so many movies that display apocalyptic events that it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, okay? And I'm sure you've listened to many songs that literally have lyrics of apocalyptic type things, okay? So there's a reason why these different industries, like the music industry, the movie industry, the TV show industry, use apocalyptic symbolism. Now, if you're somebody who consistently consumes my content, you obviously know that movies, lyrics within songs, the notes that are played that create vibrations within the instrumental behind the artist, these are all strategically and intentional, and they're all placed within these different entertainment avenues to be utilized in a ritualistic way. None of these things are random. And whether you believe me or not, that's up to you. I could care less. I'm telling you, as a professional called this, none of these things are random, okay? They are meant to be used for mass collective programming for the most part, okay? There's other nuances and other reasons why they're used, but most prominently, it's for mass collective programming. Now, when you program the masses, what you have to understand is that the mass collective subconscious and unconscious can actually manifest real-life events on this planet, events that could be considered apocalyptic in nature, meaning when the mass collective comes together and it has a similar belief, the entire atmosphere of this planet itself can change, okay? You can change the weather. You can cause disasters to take place, tornadoes. You can cause potentially hurricanes, tsunamis. Okay, it's all coming from an energetic root. And truly, if you control the mass collective unconscious and subconscious mind, you can literally control large amounts of weather and how weather manifests on this planet. Okay, so with that knowledge being said, the question may come up as to why would anyone want to bring in apocalyptic type of experiences or apocalyptic types of energy to this planet, okay? Most of you listening to this, when you've ever heard of someone speak about the apocalypse before, you've probably heard them speak about it in a way that's like, we need to fight against the elites, we need to fight against the people who control the economy, and they're the bad guys. You know, this planet is going to hit a level of apocalypse if we don't fix what's happening on our planet. Okay, so this is mainly probably the most popular perspective you've heard when people mention the apocalypse. They're basically playing a role of, this is who I am, this is who they are, If they're doing this to our planet, then our planet potentially will come to an end. Therefore, that would be the apocalypse. Okay, wiping out the planet hitting the reset button and starting fresh. Now, the truth is that obviously when it comes to elites, the deeper levels of the elites, the names within the families that you've never heard before, okay, there's levels to being an elite member of the inner societies and things of that nature. Once again, the more elite you get, the less likely you're going to ever come close to even knowing who or what they are. Okay. I'm a black magician, as I've mentioned. The people that are controlling the economy on this planet are real black magicians like myself. Okay. We share something in that sense. And, if you're a true, real black magician and you're listening to this, maybe you're able to gain some perspective, or maybe you're even going to resonate with what I'm about to be speaking about. But the truth that I'm trying to make is that the people that are controlling the economy, these are not stupid people. These are not dumb people. These are not people, although they do a lot of manipulating, although they create the multiverse in an inverted way, intentionally, although they do a lot of these negative things, they're not stupid. Okay? They're not stupid whatsoever. These are some of the wisest people on the planet. Once again, myself included. I'm not a stupid individual. Okay? I do things all the time. My natural energy field challenges people. My natural energy field manifests chaos that is a catalyst to other people I come in contact with. Now, it's all up to the individual on how they use the catalyst, whether they're going to evolve or whether they're going to degrade. But the point is that the people that control this planet on that economic level and truly do have the most power on this planet are going to be people that are negatively polarized. They are real black magicians, and they are doing similar things that I'm doing in my own reality. Okay? They're just doing it on a more so, I'm not even going to say that. They have more economic finance, and they're able to infiltrate different areas of the mass collective to a different degree than what I can do at this point in time. Okay, as time moves on, time will tell. But the point is that these types of people, real black magicians, we're not stupid. We are literally some of the most wisest beings on this entire planet, if not the most wise, okay? Which means we have knowledge, we have perspective, we have understanding that most people don't have, okay? So there's a reason why all this apocalyptic programming is placed into our mass collective. Okay, even the nature of the most popular religion in the United States, being Christianity, is literally apocalyptic in nature. It's about, the end times are coming. Jesus Christ is literally going to physically come back, and then he's going to rapture up everyone who's a believer, and the world is basically going to go to shit, and all the believers go to heaven. That's apocalyptic in nature. And is that story actually going to take place? No, not the literal way that they discuss it. Okay? But here's the point. Listen up. Okay? The apocalypse is not something that is negative to a person who is negatively polarized. Let me say that one more time. The apocalypse is not something that is negative, truly, to somebody that is negatively polarized, that is a real black magician. Okay? This is one of the biggest and deepest secrets within the entirety of the occult that so many people do not know and so many people do not understand. But if you're actually paying attention, you will start to connect the dots. If you can actually observe what you're taking in on a daily basis when it comes to the entertainment industries. Okay, one of the biggest reasons why there's so much inversion on this planet, why they're pushing, or this idea is pushing towards artificial intelligence, literally removing the human from the human being. The reason why there's so much apocalyptic programming that is intentional within the entertainment industry, within religious belief systems, is because the people that control this planet, myself included, on a psychic level, on an occult level, are real black magicians, okay? Which means we are ushering in the apocalypse, okay? This is literally why, when you look at a lot of the darker entities within the occult field, some having to do with the Ars Goetia, a lot having to do with archdemons, like the demons of the tunnels of Set, or the demons of the Qliphoth, a lot of them have associations with the apocalypse, okay? Apocalyptic energies, okay? Destruction, okay? The Scarlet Woman is the woman of the apocalypse who rides the beast, okay? What does this mean? Once again, what this means is that if you are a real black magician, you know what you're doing on this planet, you know what your soul's purpose is, you know how you're truly polarizing on that soul level. Therefore, the more you polarize as a real black magician, the more you polarize as a negative entity, the more evolutionary power and progress you're going to make. So when you're a real negatively polarized being, one of the biggest powers that you can do is usher in the apocalypse on this planetary sphere. Okay? Now, here's a little bit of a perspective that you may, and it will serve you to have to understand why we're doing that. So first thing first, the reason why we're doing it is what I just mentioned. It increases our evolutionary power and it increases our evolutionary growth, okay? The more we try to usher in the apocalypse. The apocalypse truly is not something that is set in stone. It's not something that needs to necessarily happen, and it's not something that is destined to happen. But it seems like that to a lot of you listening to this because of all the programming of the apocalypse that is in our mass collective today. It almost seems like there is going to be an apocalypse. It feels that way. That's because the mass collective, subconscious and unconscious, has been very profoundly programmed to think there is an apocalypse. And therefore, the more the mass collective, unconscious and subconscious believes that, the more likely it's going to manifest. Okay, but here we go. So as I was saying, the reason why we usher in the apocalypse is because when we pass away from this planet, not only does it increase our evolutionary power and our progress, the more we spread the negative polarity on the incarnational planet that we're on, because that's our soul's evolutionary path, being the negative path, but we do not reincarnate. If you graduate, if you're a real black magician and you truly understand what you're doing, then obviously at that level, you would be ushering in the apocalypse consciously. If you're that type of real black magician, then you are not going to reincarnate back on this planet. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, I've made other videos that discuss this. I highly recommend you check out on my YouTube channel, one of them being titled, What's Happening on Our Planet Earth Right Now. Our planet recently shifted from a 3rd density planet to a 4th density planet, and this happened in 2012. And specifically, the 4th density planet that we shifted into is a positively oriented 4th density planet, which means that if you're a negative polarized being, entity like myself, and you're truly walking that path, which there are truly few amongst the majority, okay, then you are not, if you're eligible to graduate into the next density, then you are not going to reincarnate back on this planet. Rather, as a real black magician, we will reincarnate onto a different planetary sphere that is 4th density and completely negatively polarized. Okay? Literally, when you pass, if you're not in the middle place, if you're not someone who was lukewarm or didn't know what direction to move in, then you are either going to separate into a positive polarized planetary incarnation for the 4th density, or you're going to go to a negative planetary civilization that is for the 4th density. Okay, now if you're in the middle place, if you are somebody who is in between, and you didn't figure out what your soul path was, or you didn't make that choice, then you are going to have to reincarnate back into the 3rd density. Now, the fact that this planet that we live on Earth is no longer a 3rd density planet means you're not going to reincarnate back on this planet. You're going to have to find a new planet that is 3rd density to reincarnate on, okay? Now, once again, if you're a real black magician, you're not going to reincarnate back on this planet, meaning when we usher in the apocalypse for this planet, the more destruction and the more chaos that we cause, we are not going to relive through that apocalyptic experience, or you could say the manifestation of the actual apocalypse, the destruction, because that was basically our purpose, was to cause the apocalypse. And once again, once we physically pass, if we were eligible to graduate into the next density, then we are going to incarnate on a completely different planet. And therefore, us manifesting the apocalypse on this planet, which is newly fourth density, is actually going to give us huge amounts of evolutionary power and huge amounts of potential for evolutionary growth because of what we created on this planet. Okay? Now, I know a lot of you listening to this may be like, what in the fuck are you talking about? That sounds ridiculous. That just sounds wrong. It sounds evil. It sounds like something that shouldn't be true and it shouldn't happen. But here's the truth. Remember, and I'm sharing this as somebody who really understands these truths and understands these secrets and is open and willing enough to share it honestly with you. Okay? The truth is no matter what is taking place in the world today, whatever you deem to be good or bad, right or wrong, evil, not evil, whatever the case is, the truth is none of that is real. Okay? And when I say none of that is real, what I mean is that anything that you would consider to be a challenge or you would consider to be not fun to experience is ultimately something that needs to be worked with, is ultimately something that needs to be embraced, and then once again, ultimately understood. Every single thing on this planet that is not fun to experience, that is challenging, that requires you to apply more discipline is an opportunity for your own growth. So what that means is that no matter how inverted this planet is, no matter how corrupt this planet is, how chaotic this planet is, you're always, if you're living on this planet, whatever path you're on, you're always in a position to gain huge amounts of evolutionary growth, depending on what path you choose, because there's so much catalyst on this planet. See, as real black magicians, as real negative polarized entities, we create the catalyst for the mass collective. We create literally the challenges for the other beings on this planet to make a choice. What choice are you going to make? Are you going to essentially join the dark side, or are you going to join the light side? Are you going to be positively polarized, or are you going to be negatively polarized? Or are you going to stay in the middle and just be a victim and not know where you're going, and then reincarnate again and lose all your potential? Okay? The choice is yours truly. So there is nothing that happens for no reason. This is the law of the source. Everything happens for a reason. There are no mistakes. And you are exactly where you need to be when you need to be there. And guess what? You listening to this, your own soul brought you here at this time. Okay? So you can never truly be the victim. You can never truly say, this is not fair. Why is it happening this way? Your soul knows all past, present, and future in its highest density levels. And it chose to incarnate you here in this moment because it thought you had the opportunity to remember who you truly are, what you truly are, and why you're here. And once again, why you're here is to polarize. Why you're here is to realize what path are you truly on. Okay? Are you on the positive polarized path, or are you on the negative polarized path? Okay? If you want to know a little bit more about these different polarizations, I have an entire YouTube video that discusses it, talking about the different polarities. Okay? You can find it by the YouTube name. It's not hard to find. But the point is that once again, real black magicians gain nothing but value from manifesting the apocalypse. Okay? We literally gain nothing but value. We do this because we know truly on a soul level that we're providing so much catalyst that the planet has an accelerated opportunity to polarize, which is the main reason why they're incarnate on this planet in the first place. And then on the other end, the more important end, or the more embraced end for the real black magician, is it increases our power here on this planet, but also on a soul level. It increases our power into the next incarnational experience that we're going to go into. It literally increases our power on all levels so that we can further evolve up the densities. Okay? And this is why we do it. It's that simple. Okay? This is why there is so much programming of the apocalypse. This is why all the real negative polarized entities and real black magicians who control this planetary sphere and control the economy and how things function set up this programming. This is why we do it. It benefits us. Okay, if you take the word God, some of you may have heard this saying before, but if you take the word God, it's generate, order, then destruction. It ends in destruction. Think about the symbol of the Ouroboros, a serpent consuming its own tail. There will be order, there will be destruction. There will be order, there will be destruction. There will be order, there will be chaos. And the cycle goes on and on and on and on. Now, ultimately, it's up to the mass collective on how they're using the chaos, how they're using the dark energy, how they're using the destruction. And the way that they use it is going to be dependent on how and if the apocalypse even manifests. Because once again, the apocalypse is not a destined thing. It's not set in stone. It's not a permanent, for sure going to happen thing. It's a thing that is used by control of the mass collective. Control of the mass collective to be programmed to think the apocalypse will happen will inevitably manifest the apocalypse. Therefore, all the real black magicians, all the real Universe B vampires listening to this, all the real negatively polarized entities are going to gain power during that experience, during the apocalypse. The more the apocalypse manifests itself, the more we build our empires, the more we step into our power. Eventually, until the point where the apocalypse manifests, if it does, and by that point, we will transition to a whole different planetary sphere. And this planet will be reset. And then, because this is a newly fourth density positive planet, because if there was an apocalypse, then fourth density beings that are positively polarized will start to populate this planet. And eventually it will get to a point where it is only, this planet Earth will only be a positively polarized planet with no more negative entities that can come into it. Okay? This is a potential. This is eventually what will happen with this planet. So by the looks of things, I should say, of the way the mass collective is functioning now, it's looking like the apocalypse will manifest at some point in time. Now, obviously, this is something that's going to happen in many years from now. This is something that's going to take place hundreds of years from now. But it is looking at the way things are functioning, at the way things are going, it is looking like we're headed in that direction. Okay? And once again, if you're a real black magician, like myself, this is a valuable thing for you. This is why I help to usher in the apocalypse. This is why I rose the bride, who is the Scarlet Woman, and I acted as the Samael, or the Lucifer, and now have the ability, by raising the Scarlet Woman, which was the bride of the apocalypse, now I have the ability, on a psychic level, to bring in cosmic judgment. Okay? This is deep level occult initiation that I'm talking about right now. But this is what I did. And this is what other real black magicians do. And when I first did it, I didn't fully understand consciously why I was doing it. I didn't really know the deeper secrets, or I should say the deepest secrets of being a real negatively polarized being, or being a real black magician. But I knew what I was doing. I knew what it was doing. I didn't question it because I knew it was my soul's evolutionary direction and I was following it accordingly. But now, since I'm more evolved, since my awareness has broadened, since I've stepped into a lot more power since that time, I have the conscious awareness of why I did it, what I'm doing, and where I'm headed. And I also know what other people that are doing things that are self-similar to me, I know what their intentions truly are as well. And why we're all truly, if you're real black magicians, on some level, we're all working together to usher in the same types of energies on this planet. Okay? Even to the positively polarized beings, to the beings that are truly positively polarized, none of them view the negative entities like myself as evil. If you're truly positively polarized, there is no evil. There is no truly wrong or right. Okay? There is only opportunity for growth, and there is only opportunity to serve others as the self. That's the true positive path. Okay? There is no pointing fingers. So you can imagine how caught up the white magicians and the people that think they're on the positive path in this planet, you can imagine how caught up they are because they're still caught up in duality. They're still caught up in right and wrong and telling you what you should do and what you shouldn't. They're still caught up in trying to control your free will to be better, to be more positive, which is going against the entire doctrine of their soul's path, okay? But only a real black magician will be able to know these things and ultimately speak about them in the way that I am right now. Now, the apocalypse is, so let's take it back to what I said, generate order, destruction. Okay, I'm going to be sharing, look, I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to share with you some very profound secrets of the real Illuminati. Okay, none of this outer Illuminati bullshit, all these occult orders you've ever heard of, throw them out the fucking window. Okay, I'm talking about the real Illuminatis that you have no idea about. Okay, there are levels and there are layers to it. Okay, just like that Drake song, there are levels to this shit. Generate order, destruction. Okay, the real black magicians, the real black brothers and sisters, one thing that we always understand is that everything ends in chaos. It is our evolutionary purpose to make sure things always end in chaos. Okay? So what this means is that we will strategically bring in order. We will strategically bring in a new world order that ultimately we know is going to end in chaos. So it is our job to generate order and then make sure destruction follows the order that we generated ourselves. So we have full control on the entire mass collective. We have full control of whatever society that we have influence over, and we have full control ultimately over the planet's energy fields. Because we're generating order, everyone gravitates towards order. Everybody does. But we have control to destroy the order. Even the people that we use to order, even the people that we use to generate the order, they don't even know that their order is going to end in chaos. But the real black magicians, like myself, always know that the serpent consumes its own tail. We know, regardless, it will end in chaos. Yet we still set up individuals who cling on to order, who cling on to always knowing, who cling on to trying to control through order, and we allow them to think what they want to think. We even fuel them up in their beliefs, but then when the time comes, we know it will come crashing down. Matter of fact, we actually influence it on a psychic level to burn. Okay? Generate order, destruction, God. Okay? This is the negative polarized way of understanding what the term God means, what the word God means. Okay? And this is literally what is controlling our planet today. Okay? All these occult orders that you know, Golden Dawn, Rosicrucians, Knights Templars, OTO, every single one of these orders you may think are the people that are behind all the sinister occult rituals in our today's time, and are the people that are the ones, you know, creating the inverted multiverse and things of that nature. And I'm not saying that there aren't ties to some of these orders to the inner real Illuminatis, like myself. But the truth is that all these outer occult orders are the food, essentially. They are the puppets. They're the rag dolls for the generate order, occult orders, that ultimately will always end in destruction. Okay, there are real black magicians that get together and have very long, meaningful, full of knowledge, full of wisdom, full of understanding conversations on a soul level and discuss for hours on end what is going to be happening on our planet, what are we going to be implementing, how is it going to be taking place, how are we further going to manifest what we're looking to manifest, what we're intending. All these outer orders that I just mentioned, they are the layer of disguise. They are the illusion of much deeper levels of occult magic, much deeper levels of occult knowledge, wisdom, understanding. And a lot of this is literally what I'm sharing in this YouTube video. Now, obviously, there's a lot more. There's a lot more secrets that I'm not sharing on this on my YouTube channel in general. There's a lot of stuff that I know for myself that I will never share. But there's also a lot more advanced information, perspectives, and understandings that I have on my Patreon, which is the first link in the YouTube description. Okay? But long story short, this is what's taking place. Generate, order, destruction. It's all controlled. Okay? And ultimately, as a real black magician, the goal is to end in the apocalypse. For us to leave this planet, it is our best goal, it is our best purpose to initiate the apocalypse on this planet. If we can do something that is so negatively charged on this planet, and we can manifest the apocalypse for the next 100 years, when we leave this planet, we will have received huge amounts of evolutionary value and huge amounts of evolutionary potential for our own growth. Because once again, when it comes to the source, there are two paths to follow as you're evolving up the densities. When you're in the third density, this is the density of making the choice of which path you follow. Okay, the positive or the negative. If you choose the negative path, there is a whole nother level within the fourth density, within the fifth density, within the sixth and the seventh, within the sixth, fourth, fifth, and sixth that have to do with negative polarized beings only. Meaning you choose the routes of your evolutionary growth, and that becomes the general route that you take going all the way up the densities for the most part. Okay, for the most part. It gets more nuanced than that, but for the most part. So it's only in this planetary sphere, it's only in a new, basically, we're still in the third density awareness, but it's only in this type of life experience where everything seems so confusing. Everything seems so right and wrong, good and evil. This is what I should do. This is what I shouldn't because fill in the blank of whatever moral you thought was real, whatever religious doctrine somebody told you, whatever someone programmed you to believe. It's only in this life where we have this real veil of forgetting. When you leave this planet, whatever path you're on, you have a full understanding of what you're doing. You have a full understanding of where you're headed, basically what you need to do to further progress. The progression gets a lot more the progression gains a lot more momentum from that point once you get past this density. See, most people do not make it from the third density. Most people are in the middle place. Most people are stuck in the between. They're lukewarm, as Jesus said it himself. Okay? And once again, as real black magicians, we gain huge amounts of value for everyone who did not understand what path they're on. See, as real black magicians, we gain the most value when someone doesn't understand what path they're on and they stay in that middle place, or if they join the dark side, if they end up becoming negatively polarized. This is how we gain the most value. This is why the things that I teach on my YouTube channel are geared around how to serve yourself. Okay, the things that I talk about, the things that I share publicly are teachings and doctrines and real occult sciences and technologies that show you how you can serve yourself as an occultist and step into your own power where you can become the source yourself and create an empire. These are not things that resonate with everybody. So if you're listening to this and these are things that you resonate with, you can obviously start to see what your soul is gravitating towards in regards to the polarities. See, true white magicians, they don't want to build an empire. They're not concerned about that. They just want to serve others and find unity. Okay, and that's a path. That's very valid. That's a path to take. It's powerful in its own right, but it is very different than the negative polarized path. And you look at the world today and you can clearly see where is the state of consciousness at in our today's time. Most people are negatively polarized, leaning because of the fact they have egos, but most people are actually in the middle place. They're not fully negatively polarized, so they're not at the level where they could graduate. Not even close. Okay? They're just in that between space. Sometimes they're a little positive, sometimes they're a little negative. Overall, they're the victim. The world's not fair. I don't know what I'm doing here. Why is this happening? It shouldn't happen like this. I need to choose a side of politics. All that stuff is illusionary. Okay? And there's nothing evil about the apocalypse. Okay, let me make that clear. There is no evil. There is nothing evil about the apocalypse. If the apocalypse manifests and the law of source is nothing happens for no reason, then obviously the apocalypse manifested because the mass collective allowed it to manifest. Okay? The program was so strong, it became a reality. Therefore, the program was meant to happen. And once again, hypothetically, if the apocalypse manifests, where there's world events that take place, or we could say, through the technology of AI, eventually it gets out of hand and everything starts getting destroyed, maybe some form of nuclear warfare, whatever the case is. If this happens, what it's going to do is it's literally, as I said from the beginning of this video, it's going to hit the reset button on this planet. It's going to wipe out everyone. Everyone who wasn't able to graduate in third density is going to find a new planet to reincarnate on at some point. Everyone who was fourth density positive, or who was able to graduate into fourth density positive, will eventually reincarnate back on this planet, most likely. And then everyone who is negatively polarized, who is able to graduate into the fourth density, will go to their negatively polarized planet, which is fourth density. So everyone wins in the long run. Okay, some people gain more value from their evolutionary progress than others, but ultimately everything happened for a reason and everyone wins. Okay, so now that I've shared this information, you now have a perspective that once again, I guarantee no one else will tell you, no one else will share with you. The reason is because most people don't know, and most people don't have what it takes to be on this path, be a real black magician and share openly, consciously, what it is that a real black magician does. I don't care if anyone disagrees with it. I don't care what anyone else thinks about it. This is what it is. I'm sharing the perspective. And once again, whatever other people believe, that is what it is. People are going to say what they want to say. Ultimately, if people are trying to misdirect this information that I'm putting out there, that serves my purpose anyways. Okay, the negative polarity. If people try to make it seem like what I'm sharing is not real, not true on any level, by all means, go ahead. Okay, you're doing exactly what I actually want you to do, and I'm going to take your energy from it in the meantime. Okay, because obviously if you're doing that type of stuff, then you don't know where you are. Okay, you don't know what you're doing. Okay, you're not on the positive path. You're definitely not on the negative path. Must mean you're in the middle place. Must mean you're somebody who can easily be drained of energy. Okay, so yeah, once again, now you have the perspective. So now whenever you go to the movies, whenever you listen to songs and watch music videos and see TV shows that are displaying apocalyptic behaviors, for example, the movie Moonfall, okay, the movie 2012, all the, you have zombie movies that are, the zombies are taking over the entire planet. It's like the apocalypse of zombies. These are all subtle programs of real black magicians intentionally trying to manifest the apocalypse through the mass collective unconscious and subconscious, which will take reality at some point in time, because it will get strong enough. Looks like that's where we're headed, okay? And this will serve people that are on the negative polarized path. For anyone who is truly a negatively polarized being, this will serve us. This will serve me. This is not a bad thing, okay? This is our evolutionary purpose, so to speak. This is what we do on an energetic level. We cause chaos. We generate order and manifest chaos to cause the destruction. Okay, this is our role. We are the negative charge on the battery. There are others that are on the positive side. We need them. They need us. We both exist under the laws of cosmic law and source, and we're playing our roles. That's how it is. See, most people, once again, don't understand the negative path. That's why I have a YouTube channel that is thriving. That's why I have a YouTube channel that is extremely unique. It's because this is just to show you how many people are not on this path. And even people that say they're on this path, most oftentimes, are not actually on this path. There are so many individuals that claim to be black magicians, yet they're communicating a positively oriented doctrine. They're not building empires. They're not serving themselves ultimately above everything else. They're trying to seek unity, service others, and I understand that. But the point is understand your path, understand what you're getting yourself into, understand where you're headed. That's in your best interest to understand these things. If not, it is what it is. But that's the case. So now you know why all this programming is taking place in our today's time. And now when you see it, you have a better perspective on observation. You have a better perspective to really recognize why it's taking place and how it's happening and how it is manifesting. Okay? So other than that, that's going to wrap it up. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, come down here, hit the thumbs up button, because why would you not do that? Okay? Also, come down here and hit the notification bell, because I post videos as often as I can. And with content like this, you absolutely do not want to be missing out. Okay? So definitely hit the notification bell. Okay? Come down here and hit the subscribe button, because I post videos that have tons of valuable information. And if you want to get the most value from the information, by subscribing, you're further linking into the content, which literally means you're going to be getting more bang for your buck by subscribing. So go ahead and do so if you're interested. If not, forget about it. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to say is you have my full permission to copy and paste this link and send it out to anybody, family, friends, social media platforms, you name it. You have my full permission to send it out. Spread this content like a wildfire and continue to increase my empire. That's my intention. Okay. And I'm honest about it. Okay. So let's keep doing that. Okay. The next thing I want to say is if you come right down here, you're going to see that's my Instagram handle, JER_477. Check me out on Instagram. Okay. Very unique posts that I have on there. So check it out. And the next thing I want to say is if you want to take advantage of joining a private Facebook community, you can do so. You click the little arrow drop down within the YouTube description, and you're going to see there is a private Facebook community post. Okay, if you scroll down, you won't miss it. Underneath the post, there is a link. You can click the link, request to join, and I will add you in. You'll find a group of about 460 plus members within a private Facebook group where things are getting posted on a daily basis. And I'm telling you, there is tons of valuable content that is being posted within this group from personal experience. So if you're interested, you know where to go. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, now I'm going to take your awareness to literally the most important link within the entirety of the YouTube description. Click the arrow drop down. It's the first link at the very top. This takes you directly to my Patreon. Okay? On my Patreon, I have an entire vault of exclusive occult content where none of it is on my public YouTube channel for many different reasons. It is not meant for the public. Okay, I have videos that are in the form of live streams that typically go over 2 hours long. I have I have posts in the form of blogs where I type out long paragraphs discussing very profound occult rituals and occult principles, all the way down to videos that are very similar to this one, except more advanced and more personal. Okay, if this is something that you're interested in, definitely check it out. You gain access to this type of content at tier 2 and up. Then when you move into tier 3 and up, you're gaining access to an entire magic training course. Okay, the magic training course is strategically geared towards beginning occultists. I think it would be most valuable for beginner occultists because it gives you a structured format to follow to start developing your psychic capabilities. Now, obviously, if you're intermediate or advanced, still going to serve you. Okay. Then as you move into tier 4, this is the highest tier. This is not only just the highest tier, this is the most popular tier on the Patreon itself. And there are over 200 plus members of the Patreon. Most of the members are top tier. This is the tier that is called the Universe.B Vampire Service. This is a service where I completely, on the 29th of every single month, I transform the energetic bodies of the participants of the service to be more so Universe.B dominant, which basically means to be more so negatively polarized. Okay? What this means is that these individuals have the ability to exist in the darker areas, the darker energy locations of our multiverse today without being harmed by them, but rather gaining power, wisdom, understanding, and potential from them instead. Okay? So naturally, this gives the individual an ability to be more receptive to their own unconscious and subconscious mind, which is feminine in nature. And it also gives them the ability to pull in dark energy and chaos from their environment to transmute into their own power and potential. Okay? If this is something that you're interested in, you can take advantage of it. First link in the YouTube description, tier number 4. We're going to leave that there. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give a special shout out to all of you specifically who are members of the Patreon. Huge shout out to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, for taking your knowledge, practices, wisdom, and understanding to that other side. Huge shout out. Okay, now the second link in the YouTube description, go there. You cannot miss it. Second link below. This is where you can book your own personalized tarot card reading with me. Okay, in this tarot card reading, I can literally pinpoint exactly where you are on the Kabbalistic tree. I can tell you what you're feeling, experiencing, and going through in the present moment, then tell you what to expect as you move into your near and your long-term future. Okay, based on your positioning on that Kabbalistic tree. Okay, very unique. I don't know any other tarot readers that can do this. And yeah, I've done well over 550 readings. I get tons of valuable feedback. If you want to take advantage of it, you know what to do. Second link below, book your reading. Okay? The next thing I want to say is if you look into the third link below, this is where you can become a YouTube member. Okay, now as you become a YouTube member, you're getting access to many different types of benefits. You get benefits in regards to having a badge next to your name. You get special shout outs when I do live streams. You have the ability to leave a question that appears as a super chat every single month that you're a member within the live streams. Okay, but most importantly, you have the ability to use the Psychic Warfare emoji program. Okay, so what this means is that as soon as you become a YouTube member, you gain access to a sequence of emojis that have been created by me that are based on real solid occult principles that can be used in a certain configuration. Then you link in the name of a target, you hit enter, and it travels through the metaverse, enters into the multiverse, and finds your target and affects them energetically, okay, in a fashion of psychic warfare. There are well over 1,000 posts where individuals have taken advantage of this psychic warfare. There are even individuals in this moment that are using it. Okay, it's the most simple form to utilize psychic warfare through the YouTube platform. If this is something that you're interested in, definitely check it out. Third link below, we're going to leave it there. Ladies and gentlemen, as we move into the fourth link, this is where you can purchase your EMF incense sticks, electromagnetic frequency incense sticks. These are incense sticks that are created by myself. They are not your traditional incense sticks. I've placed an occult formula within the sticks that helps to create 100% manifestation. There is also 11 drops of real monatomic gold that soaks into the sticks as well, which gives them their EMF properties. And then at the base level, where they soak for 24 hours or longer, there are real quartz crystals and real citrine quartz crystals that charge them, okay? These are once again, traditional sticks. They are very different. They are pre-packaged with energy. I've had many people that have purchased their sticks. They've left tons of amazing feedback. If this is something you want to purchase for yourself and get a 50-pack bundle or more, you can do so at the fourth link in the YouTube description. And this is where we're going to wrap it up. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have an amazing rest of the day or night, wherever you are, and I will see you in the very near future. Peace.